Moving on, we will ask Нікулін Віталій to be invited for the interview. Good afternoon. Please be seated. Good afternoon, Vitaly. Thank you for being with us today and agreeing to the interview. As you can see, 3 of the commissioners are online. 3 of the commissioners are live with you. The questions for you will be asked by me because I am the main rapporteur for you. And if the commissioners have any additional questions, we will hear them as well. We will ask you to be as precise as possible and take 3 to 4 minutes to answer questions. I suggest that we begin. The first questions will be related to issues that need clarification, the public needs clarification on declaration of your property. The first question is about a car, Volkswagen Touran. On March 14th, 2022, you purchased a 2012 Volkswagen Touran. The declared value of it was 195,000 Ukrainian hryvnias, which is about $7,500 American dollars. Meanwhile, market prices for used vehicles of this model range or start from $10,000 American dollars. In 2022, you sold the car for 350,000 hryvnia, which is $9,500 American dollars, which means you bought it for $7,500 and sold it for $9,500, which leads to us having a question why the value of the car increased after you had used it for 2 years and why the price that you bought it with was lower than the market. Thank you. Good afternoon, commissioners and everyone who is watching us. I think I gave these answers in the written form, but still, yes, I really bought the car in 2020 for the price that is indicated in the agreement. There is this little story here. This vehicle, the value that was made public was market value, about 9,500. When I sold the car, it basically did not change for this range of cars. We inspected that car at a technician at a garage, and there was no road incidents related to this car, but still we were able to identify some repair on the hull, which means that the car had taken a hit and then was repaired and professional equipment could detect it. At the same time, there was some problems with the exhaust fumes system, the engine was unbalanced. It all indicated to the fact that the car would need significant repair, first of all, for the engine. It all happened before the pandemics. I suggested that I would pay 7,500. The person refused to sell the car. Then 2 days later, they still called me and said that they agreed to my conditions because we were about to have a complete lockdown, and in 3 or 4 days, everything would have been locked, and the person agreed to my proposal. Selling the car in 2022, I did sell the car. Well, I was its owner. It probably traveled 14,000 kilometers. I did do the repair of the engine, some other improvements to the car, and it was in better shape, in a good shape, and I was selling it for about 4 months, and I managed to sell it for the amount of money that's been declared, 350,000 hryvnias, which is exactly $9,500 American dollars. One more question about vehicles. In your declaration for 2022, it is stated that since July the 26th, 2018, you have had the right to use a Ford Focus of 2018, which belongs to Nікулін Алексій Андрійович. However, you did not declare the right to use the car in your declarations for previous periods, being 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021. According to the information available to the Commission, Nікулін Алексій, on July the 27th, 2018, issued a power of attorney to you and your wife, valid until 2028. Can you confirm this? Yes, it's true. Thank you for the question. In 2018, I bought the vehicle in question. I got this power of attorney. The power of attorney covers the car, and then I have another power of attorney to buy any property or sell any property in the name of this person using this car. I can say that I started to use it in 2022. On my side, there was some mistake. I needed to indicate the time when I started to use it, but I indicated the time when my brother bought it. I will have to correct it. I think I still have time to submit a corrected declaration. In 2022, I started to use it regularly, and before that, I had my own car. And I want the Commission to have no doubts. When this vehicle was bought in 2018, I had my car as well. I needed not to use that vehicle. In 2022, I sold a Volkswagen, and now I use the vehicle of my brother because he is abroad all the time. So do I get it right? You started to use the car in 2022, and that is why this car is not in your previous declarations. Yes, and I used it in 2023, and you will also find it there in the declaration. In 2022, you started working at the Secretariat of the Ukrainian Parliament Commissioner for Human Rights located in Kyiv. In your declaration for 2020, you indicated your actual residence address being Kyiv, Voskresenska Street. However, you did not declare the right of use or right of ownership of any property in Kyiv in 2022. So the question is, where did you and your family members reside during 2022 and on what grounds? Thank you for the question. In 2022, when the military, invasion started, we were registered in Kharkiv, where we lived. Then, after 10 days in Kharkiv, we went to Khmelnytsk region, and from March to August 2022, we lived in Khmelnytsk region in the village of Kalinova. Then in 2022, in August, we moved to Kyiv, and since that moment, we lived there. I went to work to the Secretariat of the Ukrainian Parliament Commissioner for Human Rights. We live in the place that's been indicated. I did not indicate it as a property because I had used it for less than 183 days during a year at the moment of declaration. We started living there in the middle of August, and by the next year, we had been using it for less than 183 years, and my declaration for 2023 includes that property. Okay, you just said that on December 31st, you lived there. Yes. So the next question is this. According to the law of Ukraine on prevention of corruption and explanations provided by NACP, you have to declare not only the property that you were using or owning for more than 183 days, but also the property that was used by you as of December the 31st. So you are saying that you were using this property less than the period of time set by the law, but you were residing in it as of December the 31st. Yes, I was living in this flat. I provided you with the copy of this agreement for lending the apartment. Yes, I learned too late about this need to declare, but I indicated that I was living there and I provided you with the agreement. So is that a mistake on your part then? Well, yes, I was not very correct there. You informed the Commission that some of your relatives live in the temporarily occupied territory. We have a question whether you or your wife have any connections with these relatives that live there. If yes, then how often do you communicate? Do you help them financially? I mean, your relatives. Thank you for the question. I will start with the relatives of my wife. My wife's parents are deceased. My wife's mother died in the end of January 2021, I think, in the occupied territories. We turned to the relevant authorities to recognize the fact of her of her death. Her father died on February the 27th, 2022. It was day 4 of the war. We still do not have Ukrainian issued documents confirming his death, but we informed the pension fund so that his pension would be terminated. My parents now are in temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine. This past 2 years, I basically do not communicate with them. Only when the shelling is particularly bad, I want to know if they are alive. Thank you. Bad shelling by who and where? When Kyiv is being attacked, Ukraine, they want to know how we are. Thank you. Do you confirm that Nікулін Alexei Andreevich is your brother? Yes, he is my brother by blood. Do you maintain any relation or connection with him, and can you inform us where he has been for the past 2 years? Yes, Alexei Nікулін is my brother. These 2 past years he has lived in Moscow first. When the full-scale invasion started, he moved to Kazakhstan, the Republic of Kazakhstan, then to Georgia, and since September 2022, he is residing in Indonesia in the province of Bali. He granted me permission to provide a copy of his international passport, which proves that he had crossed the state border. In September 2022, he is registered as a physical entity in Ukraine. He pays taxes. His salary is good. He's an IT specialist, so he helps the budget of Ukraine in this way. The question about your apartment that you bought in 2009, which is now in the temporarily occupied territory, do you know what happens to it? Who takes care of it? Who pays for utilities? Thank you for the question. That apartment was bought by my parents completely. It's registered in my name since 2009 until 2013. My grandmother lived there. She died in 2013, and after that, the flat's been empty. I never lived there. It belongs to me, but there is no opportunity for me to use my right of property, or I don't know what to do with it, what its further use is going to be under law. Oh, but you know do you know what's happening there? Is it just empty? Is it being used by somebody? Has somebody raided it? I only obtained this information about the car like 3 years ago. It's very small. It's 22 square meters. It was empty. As far as I know, it's unoccupied, and there is no information that anyone's using it. Thank you, Vitaly. These tragic events of your family, the deaths of your wife's parents, the Commission learned that in 2021, your wife applied to the court to establish the fact of her mother's death. And you also told us today that your father had perished. Tell us, please, is there an inheritance case opened? I mean, after the death of the mother, because there is no document confirming the death of your father. If yes, then who accepted the inheritance?
My wife reached out to the National Notary's office in Kharkiv. I know that she inherited money for the unpaid pension. As for the other inheritance, as far as I understand, my mother-in-law didn't have any estate, so the notary public asked me to leave the room when the inheritance case was opened, and that is why I don't have any additional information. Thank you so much, Vitaly, dear members of the Commission. Do you have any follow-up questions to the candidate? As for the use of the car, when did you get to know that your brother issued power of attorney? Right away. So in 2018, yes, exactly. I got to know about it right away. So the question is, if you got to know about this, you understood that you have the right to use this car. So that is why I just want to draw your attention to this fact that in this case, probably you should have declared the right to use this vehicle, especially since you knew about it. Yes, thank you so much. On the other hand, I would like to reply to your question and to say that the use of a vehicle means factual use of this. How do I put it? Just the actual use of this vehicle for about 183 days per year. Of course, sometimes I use this car, but I didn't use it regularly. I had my own car, and I didn't have the need to use my brother's car. Thank you so much. So this power of attorney of my brother helped me because actually I helped him get registered as a private entrepreneur in Ukraine and to pay taxes in Ukraine and not in Indonesia or any other location. So sometimes it really helps. Thank you so much, Vitaly. As far as I see that members of the Commission do not have any follow-up questions, thank you so much for being open and honest with us. Thank you for explaining everything to the general public. So you can be free now. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear participants of the Commission. I would like also to thank our interpreters for their hard work. Thank you so much and have a nice day. And now I have to announce a break, and we will get back at 15:45.